Hello, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Gentleman Masterclass. I am your host, Marc.antomattei, and before we get on with today's episode, you know I got to do the plug. The book, 50 Japanese Whiskeys, available now in all formats on Amazon.com, and the two new books, The Ideal Bartender Centennial Edition and Julian's Recipe Centennial Edition, available now. And in fact, this book right here that I'm holding in my hand, Julian's Recipes by Julian Anderson. I just made the Manhattan recipe from over 100 years ago that is featured within this book. And getting ready to have a sip of that now before we get started. Go ahead, put these books to the side. I got to be real careful with this because I have one of those cocktail glasses, the real old-fashioned glasses that it likes to spill out from the sides. I need to get the more contemporary glasses that have the lip on it that is raised up a little bit more, and it's kind of more circular or cup-like. That way, it keeps things like this from, like spillovers from happening. But this is the traditional glass. That one is real nice and sweet. I got my bourbon whiskey inside of there, Italian vermouth. A little bit of syrup, and I held the cherry on this one only because I don't have a cherry in stock at the moment. But when I do, I usually put the cherry in there. Nice and sweet. That's very good. So let's go ahead. Well, also before I get started, let me mention that tomorrow is going to be a live stream. Really long story, which I'm not going to tell now. Almost bought my first Rolex yesterday. Almost pulled the trigger. I was inside of the store for 1 hour, eyeballing this thing, trying it on, clicking on the clasps, looking at it. Ultimately, I didn't get it, but full story coming tomorrow. I am going to be on Austin Daniels, the Rolex guy. He has a new live stream channel. Make sure that you guys go follow that one immediately. The channel name is called Watch Symposium Live Streams. You type in those 4 words exactly, and it'll take you to it, and you'll find it. And probably I'm going to be the first live stream on that channel, I believe. Could be. Austin Daniels' new channel, Watch Symposium Live Streams. I'm getting ready to tell my Rolex story. I'm still getting ready to get a Rolex, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to get that particular one. But just needed to consult with my Rolex consultant here, Mr. Austin Daniels, first before I make any decisions that I might regret later down the road and have some buyer's remorse. So decided to check with this guy first, and we'll see what it is. Anyways, today's episode. The last episode that I did, it was called Kevin Samuels Low Key Calls Out Fresh and Fit. Not going to get into that whole thing again. But anyways, there was somebody that left a very nice comment down inside of that video. The guy's channel name, or his name, he goes by Honest Citizen. And he said, it was very brief. It was 1 line, 2 lines. He said 3 lines. This concept of high value is very dangerous. People start thinking they are worth more than common folk. The heads get big. That was all he said in response to my video. And I want to speak on that real quick because a lot to say there, a whole lot to say there. And I got some stuff to retort. Not coming after this guy. We had a nice dialogue, a quick back and forth, and you know what? I thought his comment was so good that instead of replying back to it a second time, that I would just make a full-fledged video about it. So what am I going to call this video? I'm going to title this video something, I got it. Is the concept of high value dangerous? Title of today's video. Let's go ahead and go to the video real quick. The video in question and the comment in question. And let's take a quick look at this. Let's view my first reply to what he said. Again, he said, this concept of high value is very dangerous. People start thinking they are worth more than common folk. The heads get big. And my reply is, it's not dangerous for men. It's well defined what a high value man is. There isn't any thinking about you're making more than what you're worth. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. There is nobody that is making like $60,000 a year thinking that they're a high value man when the standard is already set. The standard is set in stone. So if you're not making $100,000 per year consecutively for the past 3 to 5 years, then, and if you're not being recognized by high value peers and inside of their circle as one of theirs, you are not a high value man. It's not you're making 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 and you think you're high value. The standard is $100,000 per year consecutively for at least the past 3 to 5 years. So you got to be recognized by your peers as well. So it's not someone, thinking that they're high value. You can't think and therefore you are. You must do. You must meet the criteria. There is criteria that is set in place that you must make. So it's not dangerous. And I don't know why he says he thinks it's very dangerous, but he says there's people that think this way that they're high value and they get a fat head. Well, you can't think that way and get a fat head if you're not meeting the criteria. I mean, that's simply the end of story, right? And I also replied, and I'll say it's definitely more dangerous on a woman's behalf, more than a man, because, they would say to you as a man, you ask them, what is it that you can bring to the table? And they will reply to you something along the lines of, I can be supportive, submissive, cook, clean. They'll say those 4 things, right? Supportive, submissive, cook, clean. Well, listen, all women can do that. All of them. So what is setting you apart from all other women, right? Those are not skills valued at $100,000 or deserving of a $100K a year or more man, right? So what do they bring to the table? Most women, and there I quoted, average at best and need to be with average man. Why do they think that they deserve a man that is more than what they bring to the table, which is almost not that much, which is something that all women have, right? There's nothing wrong with being average at best and being with an average at best man, but just understand your worth and your value and just move on with it. It is what it is. And that's the end of the story. This is where he gets to a very, 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 very long reply after I leave that all out on the table. And it was at this point in time that I decided that, he gave me this super long response. I would rather just make a video about it and reply to this by word or what have you. Let's take a look here. He says, well written and concise response. I could tell you're an experienced writer. Well, I thank you on that. Absolutely. I'm 100 times a better writer than I am an orator. And man, if my orating skills were as good as my writing skills, man, I would be speaking with a tongue like Muhammad Ali, bro. People would be hanging on every single word that I say. But as a writer, definitely I'm better. So I thank you for recognizing that, man. Because I recognize that in myself. And for somebody to actually say that and to acknowledge what it is that I'm thinking about myself, It is one of my shortcomings. I would like to get up my skills in speaking, but I digress. He says, I do agree with you in the concept of a high value man in theory. My concern is twofold with regard to how I have seen high value men act. Firstly, since a high value man earns more than most, he might think he works harder or smarter than the average man. Well, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Wouldn't that have to be the case? I mean, I'm not a high value man, but I'm just putting it out there, man. I understand what a high value man is, and I know that I'm not one. I'm not going to claim to be one, and I'm not going to fake that I am one. But I know what a high value man is and what it takes to be one. And to some degree, or to a lot of degrees, wouldn't they have to be working harder or smarter than the average man? I mean, there's a whole reason why they are where they are and why we are still trying to make it to where they are, right? I know I got skills, but I haven't applied them in a way to reach where it is that I wanted to reach yet. So are they working smarter than me? Definitely. I mean, I could be smarter than them in many facets of life and with many skills, but they have the skill to get the money, the thing that we are trying to get ourselves and achieve ourselves and make it to that plateau so that we're earning just as much as they are. So in that regard, with making money, yes, they are smarter than us. So yeah, there's that. Therefore, he believes he is entitled. He is entitled. He is entitled. He thinks he's entitled to a higher quality woman than all men who don't meet the criteria of high value. Well, listen, man, again, it is what it is. Understand the purpose of men and women inside of this world. If you're a man, the things that we're looking for in women is beauty. It's very superficial and it's face value. Yes, it is. We are looking for beautiful women. It is what it is. And when it comes to women, the things that they're looking for a man with money that can be supportive of them and their needs, right? So yes, they are more entitled to these women than we are, because if they're making the things that women want and they have the things that women want and we don't have it, yes, they are entitled to those women. So, once I start making what they're making, then I can try to, compete with them and I can take the women off of their plate, so to speak. But until that time comes, I cannot get those women. Listen, I mean, you believe what you want to believe. If you got the game to do it or to garner those women, go ahead and do it, man. I mean, listen, go out on Instagram and go look at these top 5% women. The graded on a 10, the graded on a scale from 1 to 10 women. Try to go get the 10s, leave them a message inside of their inbox and say, listen, I got such and such going for me. I mean, try to do what it is that you do and see if you can pick up, right? It's probably not going to happen that way. If you're a successful man and they see that you got the money, you got the gear, you're riding on the yacht, you got the Rolex watch and things like that, and they recognize that, they're going to be more inclined to want to reply to the message that you left inside of their DMs than if you're just some broke down average guy. They don't want an average guy. They want an above average guy. That's what they're looking for. And not so much in the looks department, but what it is that you can bring to them and what you can offer them. It is what it is, man. So let me see, where did I leave off? Therefore, he believes he's entitled to a higher quality woman than all men who don't meet the criteria of high value. Case in point, Dr. Jordan Peterson, who may not reach all the criteria of a high value man, but his contribution to society has been phenomenal, and he is a great intellect. Is Kevin Samuels or any other person who reaches high value or status really more deserving of a higher quality woman than Peterson. Come on, man. Kevin Samuels is not competing with Jordan Peterson. And who's to say that Jordan Peterson is not a high value man? Yes, he is. He is a high value man. The guy is a PhD. He's teaching studies and giving lectures at Yale and all these Ivy League universities and things like that. He's published New York Times bestseller books. This guy is probably a high value man. Just understand it is what it is. Don't try to bring up Jordan Peterson and have him compete with Kevin Samuels. These guys are peers. I mean, they don't know each other. They don't associate with one another. But when I'm talking about in terms of status, they are men on the same level. They make probably about the same amount of money. Why do you think that Jordan Peterson is not a high value man? This guy's probably making money hand over fist with the books that he publishes and with his speaking engagements alone. So come on, he's a high value man. He's easily making over $100,000 a year, man. I mean, come on. So, I mean, don't try to put one high value man against another. It is what it is, man. I don't know how many times I can say that. So, no, they deserve the same high quality woman, right? I do not believe so. I believe there are good, hardworking men who cannot reach certain criteria of a high value man due to the limits of the occupation, who are worthy. No, it's not due to the limits of the occupation, sir. It's due to the limits. It's due to the limits of how hard you work within a certain occupation and whether you meet the monetary criteria and meet your peers' expectations of what a high value man is. I know a guy. He probably doesn't want me talking about him. I'm not going to mention his name, but I know a guy out in Detroit. He's an electrician. I'm pretty sure this guy is a high value man. He's a whiskey collector. He has all the high-end watches, the Patek Philippe's, the Rolexes. He probably has some IWC. I don't know. He has all the high-end luxury watches. I don't think this guy, if he's not making high value money, I don't think he's buying all this stuff without all that, right? Just my friend out in Detroit, he's buying all these high-end whiskeys. I know the guy is making a lot of money. I would consider him to be a high value man. And he's doing this from his job as an electrician, but he's probably doing a bang up job as an electrician. And he's probably taking on more work than other electricians. The guy has everything that, I mean, when we're talking about attainable things, I'm at a loss of words here. Physical things. He probably has all the things that I want in life when it comes to, I mean, come on, we're speaking superficial here, but when it comes to those type of things, he has the things that I want. He's definitely a high value man. Let's see. Are they? I believe there are good, hardworking men who cannot reach certain criteria of a high-value man due to the limits of the occupation, etc., who are worthy of a woman of great substance. He's married. I'm sure he has a woman of great substance. Secondly, is the vague or unclear, undefined concept of morality. Can a high-value man sleep with several women as long as his personal life is private? I mean, those are personal choices. Listen, don't get morality and high value mixed up with one another. One has nothing to do with the other. There are high value men that are scumbags, and there are high value men that are on a morality trip. I mean, I spoke of Muhammad Ali earlier. The guy is a top-notch man, but Listen, you could be both. I'm not going to touch that too much. Let's see, where did I leave off? Could such a life be truly seen as one of integrity as long as he does not cause public damage? I mean, listen, I don't want to get into that too much. You could have the most integrity, I don't break my balls or my word for nobody type of guy, right? You can be the most highest value man in terms of integrity and your mores and your ways and things like that. But you could still be broke. You are not going to be recognized as a high value man if you don't meet the monetary value. You could call somebody high value in personality traits or in morals, but when it comes to finances, the things that we are referring to when we are talking about high value men, they don't meet the criteria. I mean, that's just the end of the story. I have not seen many high value men truly live by humility. Rather, they start to believe that the average man is below their capacity. Well, in monetary value, it is what it is. Can a high value man be too high class to be friends with like-minded industrious professionals who are not high value? I think they can. They could recognize traits inside of you that they want to pick up on themselves and learn from. So I think that they can be friends with somebody who doesn't meet the monetary classifications, right? Listen, I got a lot of friends that make a lot more money than me, but they're still friends with me for whatever reason, just because, I don't know, man, I'm interested in conversation. We look at the same shit. We share the same values, or in smaller degree things like pop culture. You know, we watch the same movies, things like that. I don't know. The guy makes a lot more money than me, my best friend. I'm not going to mention him out by name, but he's a good guy. He sees me as a friend. We hang out every single week, man. He sees something in me that he just enjoys being with me. So there's that. These are some reasons. I could write more reasons why I am not fond of the high value man term. Listen, I didn't make the term. Kevin Samuels didn't make the term. It's a term that's already set in place, and we're just abiding by and acknowledging what it is. If you want to come up with a new term for a broke guy, but is high on his moralistic stance, then come up with it, and we can start talking about men that way. But when it comes to high value men, it's set in stone what it is. All right, he's wrapping up here. I certainly don't also claim to have a solution that people would necessarily agree to. Certainly, respect for human dignity, regardless of status, should be a common goal. Much respect to you, sir, and to your career, as I wish you success. Well, much salute to you as well, sir. You're a good man, and I thank you for leaving this comment out on the table. I mean, you took the time out of your day to leave this really long comment, and it's a good one, and it's something to think about, but I'm not going to argue the points of what a high value man is, and I'm not offended by it. I'm not a high value man. I know I'm not there. Nobody's going to call me a high value man. Am I offended? No. I know deep within myself and within my soul, man, that I'm a fucking great human being, right? Nobody could take that away from me. Nobody's gonna start dogging me or talking trash about me like how people are talking trash about like Bezos and what's the other guy's name? Bill Gates out on the internet. They're saying that all these people do is just care about money. They don't care about humanity at all. They give zero fucks about humanity. Like, they're saying Bill Gates is just He's just out here being a spokesperson for the vaccine because he's trying to shoot up the world with some truth or something like that, or I don't know, implant chips inside of people, and he's just trying to make more money, and the guy is the devil incarnate, whatever. I mean, whatever, man. He could be all of these things. He could be a bad person, but he's making money hand over fist. I'm not that person. Bezos, they say he's, using all his money to fly up into space. He doesn't care about helping the needy. It is what it is. I'm probably better guy. I'm a better man than probably both of these people when it comes to values and morals, in my mores and my beliefs and things like that. But I'm not making their kind of money. I'm not inside of their league when it comes to that. Don't try to overlap one with the other. They're two complete separate things, man. It is what it is, and that's the end of the story. All right, man. Let me just go ahead and have a sip of this Manhattan. Let me try to finish this off. I don't want to drink it too fast because, man, when I make these recipes, right, and I follow the recipe verbatim as how Julian Anderson left it inside of his book, he makes the recipe strong. Whereas if you go to a bar and you ask them to make a Manhattan for you, they're going to try to be cheap with the ingredients, first of all. Second of all, they're not going to be very giving with their pours. They're going to give you a high amount of the cheap ingredients, and they're going to give you a low percentage of the very costly ones, just to try to save out on some money. But when it comes to me and you making these things personally inside of your house, sky's the limit. You can use as high-end ingredients as you absolutely want. There is no barrier that is holding you back, and you do the pours as generous as you like, right? So, man, I made this verbatim to as he left the recipe inside of his book. Comes out delicious and absolutely strong. Let's finish this off. Good topic today. Very good topic. And I want to thank one more time Honest Citizen for giving me the nice replies. You're a good guy, man. I don't care what anybody says. You're a good guy. Salute to you, sir. Salute to everybody out there. If you're drinking, make sure that you drink responsibly. And as always, gentlemen, keep it classy. I'll see you guys in the next one. And until next time, peace.